Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of HarlequinCasts Dawn of War 2 Retribution. We are moving on with Game 2 in our Newbie Tuesday series with Mr. OlBloodNGuts from the Project Learn2Play.com organization. How are you doing today, Old Blood?
Doing good, sir. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're just kind of churning through the games. Got a bunch of games out there, and I kind of like doing this with Newbie Tuesdays just because there are so many submissions. The more we can get through, the better. So let's take a look around the map today. This is, of course, the Dark Foreboding Legis High Stratum. And today, on the southern side, we have Mr. Name that we cannot decide how to pronounce. It looks like woutoutathat. Woutoutathat? I don't know. Without a hat? I don't know exactly what that is. We were kind of discussing that a little bit, but okay, it's going to be him as the Chaos Sorcerer versus Legio Mortis, another nice little Games Workshop sounding Latin kind of bastardized, playing as the Commissar Lord. So I'm going to go ahead and start this replay in 3, 2, 1, click, and we're off. So already this map has got some fun dynamics. You and I were just kind of chit-chatting about the isolation of these power nodes, the fact that you have like all of these fun little like way far off bits over here on the left and the right side, and this really constricted area in the middle here. Going for double heretics right off the bat, how do you think that works with this map?
I think that works very well, mostly because grenade launchers can fire over the walls in the middle. You can power harass from mid without having to go around these corners and pretty much allowing yourself to fire on them. So you can gen harass in relative safety. Kind of forces them to build elsewhere, like either of the expansions on the left or the right. So it could work very well here.
Yeah, it's a really confined map. Like it seems like everything is just kind of a narrow hallway. So yeah, anything with grenades seems good there because you get lots of little choke points and stuff. So double heretics going into a single Chaos Space Marine squad, and then we have the Sentinel Guardsman opening here.
Yeah, that's a bit of a mistake. These heretics should not be engaging Sentinel and melee. They're just not going to win. The Stomp doesn't do great damage, but against heretics it doesn't need to be. So he took some pretty heavy losses there. He's chasing for really no reason. He could be kited to the end of the world.
Yeah, definitely. I think the rule of thumb is always, if you're going to engage a Sentinel, do it with Chaos Space Marines. Like focus them down with real firepower, because these Chaos Heretics, oh god, they're getting so beat up right now. Trying to cap this point. Oh god, are they even going to get out of there? Yes, I think they will. They just barely get out of there.
Teeth, yeah.
That's a huge requisition setback, though, right out the bat.
Yeah, now right here, there's a little micro trick that both of these guys should be practicing. The CSMs should be focusing the Guardsmen as soon as they start repairing that Sentinel, since right now they're just trying to push a boulder up a hill. They're just not going to out-DPS that with the repair. And on that same vein, the Guardsmen should be taking cover behind any of these tank traps here, since once you take cover and then give the repair order, they won't leave cover. So that way they can, prevent a few more losses while they keep repairing.
Yeah, isn't it like at the worst case, like one guy leaves, but like the whole squad otherwise stays pretty safe, right? Something like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So now I think we see a little bit of the Chaos Space Marines getting overambitious here, kind of cut off there, completely surrounded, getting the stomp off as well, the ground pound right there. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to call him Without a Hat because I don't know why. It sounds easier for me to say. It seems like he had a good thing going there. Maybe he could have stalemated a little bit, but oh, he got too ambitious there. And
yeah, he missed a big opportunity there. These Guardsmen in a Sorcerer matchup should try to blob up as little as possible, since the Sorcerer, between Global's War Gear and his passive abilities, has a ton of AoE. And his starting ability, the Doom Bolt, could definitely get quite a few model losses if he were to hit them before as they were hiding on that building. So he missed an opportunity there. He just stayed there and got himself stunned on his way to melee. One
thing I like about this is that we haven't seen any Commissar Lord yet, because he's been capping the whole left-hand side of the map.
Yeah, Commissar Lord is really great for being near his troops to buff them, as well as be kind of a melee deterrent, go tie up, important range squads, or just disrupt other shorter melee squads. But he's definitely been out there just wandering around aimlessly.
Taking a look over here on the right, we can see, okay, so now back in full force, Mr. Without a Hat. I know I'm totally butchering that, but I'm just going to go with it. You can see he does get double grenade launchers, though, and he is backed up with his Chaos Space Marines now, kind of engaging, driving back these troops here with some grenade barrages.
Yeah, those CSN aren't pushing. They seem to be kind of just given a move order and stayed there. So you want to prevent, definitely give them something to do. Yeah, these guys, let's see here. Yeah, he's still blobbing up those guardsmen. They need to be repairing right now. There's no reason for them to be over there.
Sentinel. Oh, God, Sentinel just goes down alone right there. That was unfortunate. That was a little bit of a mistake. Again, the themes always, and I forget, I'm going to butcher it here, but one thing I liked when I was at the project L2P.com, I'll have that in the description. You guys had like your 10 commandments of like being new to the game. Oh, before I get to that thought though, over here on the left, we do have the Chaos Sorcerer, unfortunately trapped in melee with these Catachans.
Yeah, that's a missed opportunity. The Inspire Courage ability of the Commissar Lord, where he executes the squad's one of their members to do a ton of damage extra. He could have done that on his way up, just executed one of the Catachans, and their melee just goes through the roof. They would have definitely killed that sorcerer. The second he hit retreat, between the buff to the Catachans and the buff to melee damage on retreat, that would have been a dead sorcerer.
Yep. Yeah, what I was saying was I remember I saw your like 10 commandments of playing Dawn of War 2, and I know I can't quote them off the top of my head, but I know somewhere on that list was never lose a squad, and that has to be like the fundamental thing that your brain is always checking. That like if you're used to other games like StarCraft where you can just throw away dozens of units, like doesn't happen. Very high correlation between the guy who loses the first squad and the guy who loses the game.
Absolutely. A little note on the power node, the Chaos Sorcerer's power node. Catachans actually do more damage to power in melee than they do at ranged because their melee is power melee. So the same as Banshees, for instance, they do a lot of damage to those light buildings. So they're better off meleeing power nodes than they are shooting them.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was actually, I didn't even catch that, but I was surprised to see it as soon as you pointed it out there. That's definitely not a good move there. Or at least it's a little bit slower. But either way, he got it taken down.
Yeah,
we saw a little...
What confused me was he was meleeing it to begin with and then said, nah, and
dropped back to do that. So Chaos Havoc's out right now, and then Tier 2 coming up for Legio Mortis there. The Legion of the Dead, I'm assuming, would be the bastardized Latin version of that.
Yeah, I think it's one of the Titan legions in the 40k lore.
Aha! There we go. My lore is always rusty.
Yeah, a little on without a hat side. He's definitely very short on power. He's pulling quite a bit of wreck, but one power node, one empty node. Just he needs to buy power.
Yeah, I think
he's gonna fall far behind.
Yeah, my kind of whenever I'm playing, if I see myself below like 50 power and above like 500 rec, always build like 2 or 3 generators. Just do it. Here we do get to see some of that grenade harass that you were talking about, though. I don't know if he's intentionally doing that or not. Maybe he is.
Yeah, they're attacking on their own while they cap. I don't think that's intended. The AI is giving them a little bit of a helping hand.
Oh well, you know, whatever works. And a really, really aggressive forward placement here of this heavy bolter squad here, the Chaos Havocs.
Also, I want to know, because we're going to come back to this right now, he just put a Havoc in that building. I want you to check back in 5 minutes and tell me where that Havoc still is.
Okay.
That's what I mean when I said earlier, this guy's a bit passive, not aggressive enough. You need to keep all your squads moving. Just because setup teams set up doesn't mean you're supposed to set them up once like a turret and leave them alone. They need to keep moving with the rest of your guys.
Gotcha. Here we get to see the excellent combination here of the Commissar Lord and the Catachan Devils with their power melee ripping into these Chaos Space Marines. Looks like he might get out of there. Oh god, but the Commissar Lord is going for it. He's going
here's
for
something
it.
to know. This Commissar's got balls because he did chase him into the chase him right into their base. But if you're not willing to do that, Catachans don't fire while they move. So if you want to get them to get a kiting squad, you want to hit stop while they're following the retreating squad and give them another attack order so they shoot. The range damage is reduced, but it's enough to kill most squads if they're, you know, close enough to death.
That's a good move there. I did not know that. And the Commissar Lord, man, that was a ballsy move there. But he did pick off that entire squad. So congrats for Legio Mortis for just going for it. Because it was calculated. He got a little bit suppressed there, but didn't matter. And we even get to see some Catachan improvised explosives.
Yeah, I like this. This is something you see a lot, is putting the booby traps down next to a home node, capping the node, so when they go back to decap it, or recap it rather, they can blow up the capping squad and force them off again. But he kind of messed up by not decapping, so all he can really do is hit the node when it rebuilds. You can get it at about quarter health and just destroy it in one shot.
I'll kill it all at once, yeah.
Yeah.
Taking a look around now, we see the Ogrins coming out right now, and that is a real problem because we just have the 2 Havoc squads. Let's see, we have the one in the building that you pointed out before hasn't really been doing it. I'm not even sure what he's. I kind of wonder if he didn't just forget about him.
Yeah, I can't be sure. I mean, maybe his intention was to shut off that one corridor, but This map has so many flanking opportunities. You can approach from so many different directions. There's no point to it, just to lose a squad to do that. Especially given how easy garrisons are to counter.
Yeah, especially with Catachans and stuff like that, they can kind of bombard them a little bit from different angles here. So, good-looking captures going on the left. We can see that the Chaos Sorcerer up here all alone, having some ferocious-looking melee here with this Commissar Lord, just kind of giving him the cold shoulder.
Do we have any war gear? Yep, the Chaos Sorcerer has a Flame Sword, which is very good versus those Guardsmen. Gives him a bit of a passive AoE when he attacks, so that's going to help him a bit.
Ooh, and some nice-looking Dark Flames there as well.
Yeah, you definitely want to be careful with Dark Flames to use them so that they spread in the direction of the retreat path of your enemy. That way, if they do retreat, they have to retreat through the area of effect, rather than go the other way around.
Gotcha. Yeah, these Ogrins are looking pretty serious right now.
Booby traps just went off at the power node down south. Only took off half health. He waited a bit too long.
Ah, darn. So, without a hat, he is working his way up to tier 2, perhaps, but
I'm sorry, Harlequin.
Go nuts.
Here, but a very good move at that building in south, left, west, east, wherever you want to call it. How the Guardsmen dodged into that building to prevent the Havocs from garrisoning. That was a very good move on Legio side.
Nice. Just hopped in there just to make sure nobody could take cover in there.
Yeah,
oh, you know what? I thought that was a Commissar at first, but it is a Commissar. It's just a Guardsman Commissar.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah, that was a very good move. Very fast thinking.
Nice. Yeah, that's brilliant. I always love the idea of just kind of denying cover whenever you can, especially when he had the Ogrins getting ready to do the beatdown, which they are doing in the center as well. And oh god, things are just not looking good. They're going to start using their heads and just charging after these gentlemen. Oh,
yeah.
Having no problem whatsoever with that.
That's a bad day for them. But yeah, this Chaos player right now is definitely getting to T2 far too late. The game's already, almost over. We have Ogrins already out, so that's 125 to get the T2, and the 90 to get the Ogrins, so huge power advantage on Legio's side. And keep an eye on that Havoc on the side.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Havoc is getting some action here finally, but...
This is one thing that Legio could have done better was to mash the stop button so they don't shoot there, because they do passively stealth as soon as they have the Sarge upgrade in T2. Gotcha. But if you leave them like that, they're going to keep shooting and revealing themselves. So if you want to wait until the cooldown till old reliable is up, just keep mashing S. Just make them stop firing, stealth, and wait out the cooldown.
Yeah, and unfortunately, that Havoc squad died alone and without much attention. So now we can see, without a hat, kind of overarching game plan. And I see this a lot in Newbie Chaos games, which is that they put a lot of emphasis on trying to win with the Blood Crusher. And a lot of the best mistakes that I see are just like Blood Crusher attempts that failed, like that just, missed out on other things that were going on. Like right now, it's great that he has a Blood Crusher, but it's just not going to be able to do anything. Yeah,
it came out a little late, first of all. I mean, Ogrins are pretty much the counter to Blood Crushers. Melee on melee, heavy melee, they got a lot more health. And right now, it's not going to have the same effect it would have otherwise if he reached T2 first. It's just not going to give him the map control. It's just not going to do a whole lot for him. And he needs to, his Heretic squad is now idling on the far right side. He definitely needs to get them to start just, tag teaming with the Blood Crusher. He needs them worshipping. Hopefully he notices that.
Yeah, the Blood Crusher, when it's not supported by worship, seems to be incredibly weak. And we just saw a huge path of mines being set up here between his power generator and his base as well.
Yeah, very good to get them into retreat paths. I mean, the retreat paths are pretty predictable on this map, so you can definitely drop mines there.
Yeah, like for instance, right now, you would expect that perhaps all of these heretics would go retreating back home, blow up on all of that. I can't recall if that happens or not, or if these gentlemen are just met with fast death at the hands of Ogrin. Yes, that's all. And yeah, I've had some really good games in the past where it seems like the player manages to get a Blood Crusher out on the field, and he did it really fast without losing any early units and with keeping good map control, and it seems almost unfair. And so I think that's the effect that a lot of people are going for, because it just runs into the base and just destroys everybody, and the guy doesn't have any anti-vehicle stuff up, and it's a big hassle trying to counter that. But in this situation, everything was wrong. The Blood Crusher came out way too late, that sort of thing.
Yeah, the Blood Crusher on its own doesn't win games. It's really all about timing. Yeah, and right now he's going he actually could win this fight. It's not, you know, completely without a chance, especially with the CSMs with Mark of Zinch nearby. But he needs to use his abilities. Right now, the Blood Crusher, it's not using Roar, which could make the Oglyns flee from the Blood Crusher, allowing them to DPS him out for a little bit, pretty much unharassed, but missed that opportunity. Yeah, it's looking pretty much over. He has no power.
Yeah, it looks like he stays in it for 4 more minutes, but we know that this game is over. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next game. We're gonna be casting a bunch of games today. We'll be right back.